Good afternoon across the entire world, wherever you are watching us from. You are watching me giving this public lecture on debt, politics, and the prices. This show is the Africa Business. Punchline Africa Television strives to bring about changes, positive changes on the continent of Africa by trying to explain conditions that can lead us to unrest, by trying to bring to the public some information that they need before they make decisions that they could turn around and regret. Across the globe, prices of commodities have risen, skyrocketed, not only in Kenya, not only in Africa, not in Uganda, not in Tanzania, everywhere. In Britain, for example, the prices of commodities have shot up. The factors that affect the rise in prices and the pricing are very clear to any economist. I'm not an economist, but I'm a political scientist who studies the trends, who has studied the trends of how economies can be affected on the continent of Africa. I'm not an economist, but a person who can analyze the events that could lead to a crisis. You cannot obtain a degree in conflict resolution management or certificate or diploma when you have not obtained, you don't know how you could, at the end of the day, in arbitration, mediation, in conflicts, how do you bring about a peaceful end to a conflict without knowing some economics? I will begin with the word debt, spelled D-E-B-T. Everybody in Kenya, in Uganda, in East Africa, in the world talks about debt. The rising debt, countries being indebted, countries being swallowed by debts. What is it that takes a country to take more debts and borrow more in order to strengthen its economy? A country has to borrow. Kenya has to borrow. Whichever government you reform, whether today's government or Ruto's government or Raila's government, whatever comes out, or Museveni's government, or Samia Suluhu's government, or Mnangagwa's government, whatever government you have on African continent, or Johnson, they borrow. The difference with the money borrowed in Britain and the difference with the money borrowed in Africa is like the distance between Mars and Venus, or Mars and Earth. Why is it so? It is because there are difficulties. We don't have infrastructure. Most of the people in Africa compare us. Why is the price like this? Why is the price of the railway, SGR, so high, and yet Ethiopia to Djibouti was so cheap? It's because if you are actually studying voodoo politics and the voodoo economy of David Ndii and William Ruto bottom up, you will definitely come to a conclusion that the railway line between Addis Ababa and Djibouti cost less money, and a query why the railway line between Nairobi and Mombasa cost huge money. That's voodoo politics, which David Ndii and his co-brother and others who believe in bottom-up policy, which is useless. The land in Djibouti is free. It's a state-owned land. The land in Ethiopia is free. It's state-owned land. You don't own land in Ethiopia. You own your life on that land. Whereas in Kenya, people own their land. Ancestral homes are their homes. There is nobody in Kenya who can go and throw you out of your home where your father was and your mother was or your grandfather was without payment. But the land in Ethiopia is a government land. The government can come and tell you, I'm sorry, we are passing an SGR railway here. In Djibouti, the same. So those who were harassing Uhuru Kenyatta by saying Uhuru Kenyatta spend more money on infrastructure must revisit their economic schools and the classes and maybe obtain better knowledge that will help them not to discuss things that are not worth discussion. Debt also in Africa, the debt that we have from China and from other multinational agencies is as a result of the truth, nothing but the truth, that the Jubilee government has performed. The Jubilee government has delivered. That the Jubilee government has put an infrastructure for any government in the future in Kenya to be able to run its affairs. The legacy, therefore, of President Uhuru Kenyatta is firm. If I were President Uhuru Kenyatta, I would not have any worries. You have people who are documented your legacy. I am one of those who has documented each and everything. And it is here in my head, unless I'm not there at that hour, then somebody will criticize you and I will not stand up. But if as long as I'm alive on planet Earth, you will not come to condemn Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He doesn't pay me to write my notes about the legacy of Kenya, the construction of roads, the construction of dams, the construction of houses, the putting up feeder roads, the putting up the main roads, the opening of the country to external trade. It doesn't, you don't need to pay a person to do that. It's only David Ndii who lies. David Ndii lies to Ruto to pick money for his home to survive. I don't. I'm a different crop of personality. That's why I oppose international agencies like the ICC and others, and I walk still high with my head high because I put facts. I don't oppose them because I want money. I oppose them. And I will oppose. I have that character of refusing to accept malcontents to wash over my body. I haven't seen any of the things that I've said that have not come true. I've warned the people. I've warned quite a lot of people that if you don't do this, it is up to you. Where are we today? We are in the same. I warned of a redemption strategy here in Kenya, that it is not a political process, it is a redemption strategy. People did not listen. Now we have it. The elephant is in the house. People who thought that I was wrong, and because I am Paul preaching to the Jews, shame on you now. You can see what exactly happened. I warned that there is a fourth window in this country called Kenya, where people politicize everything, including dead bodies and of dead people. Human being has died, is politicized. It is sad, therefore, that in this world, we still have people who lie for a living. And one of them is David Ndii and Ruto. Ruto is a man in government. Ruto is a ghost worker earning money on a position of constitutionalism, not conscience. Not conscience. And I repeat, Kenyans, market these two things, character and conscience. Ruto has none. If I were Ruto, I would not open up my mouth and discuss anything about the economy or fuel. Worse still, fuel which you and your company and your family and your relatives and the cronies have been involved in, and you have made huge amounts of money out of this fuel industry for a long time until you are checked and your managing directors were chased out of these places. Your managing directors, accounts, payments officers, they are all in DCI waiting to be signed. You better fight very hard to find salvation for them, because all of you, including yourself, you'll end up in a committee. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruto would be the last person to talk about debt, that we have ballooned the debt. Ruto schemed up a scheme which I want to tell people. Ruto brought out a scheme where he had one gentleman in the budget committee, head of the budget in parliament. And then he had another gentleman, the head of procurement. The man in the procurement is none other than the person we all know. And that person in procurement, is called Mr. Paul Gicheru.